Hi friends, welcome back to my channel Testing Mini Bytes. I am your friend Amudan Shaktivel, and in this video we will see one of the interesting topic about why why we don't need an executables while running our tests in container. Again, guys, in this video we're gonna see the Selenium standalone Chrome. What is this image that we are using so far, right? We're gonna get into that particular container and see what it contains. Okay, and there are certain mysteries, right? So before speaking about this, maybe I'll show the code that we are using so far so that we can get a clear idea. Okay, so if you notice, this is the code that we have been using. And normally if you're using if you're trying to invoke a browser, we normally use system dot set property and all the stuff, right? That we normally do. But here we haven't used any executables, right? So we haven't set any path for the, and we also haven't used any WebDriver manager. So so if you want to run it on a Linux machine, you need to set the path. Okay, something like this. Okay, system.set property webdriver.chrome.driver, and then you need to mention the Chrome driver, right? So in Windows it should be Chrome driver.exe, in Linux it's Chrome driver, right? The executable. So you need to mention this path and this Chrome driver. We haven't placed anything, right? So how this whole thing is executing, that's what we're going to see about in this particular video. Again, guys, if you're very new to Docker, and if you don't know, if you haven't worked much with Docker, this may look little tricky, but that's okay. Even if you don't understand, that's completely fine. It will take some time to understand, but I am trying to give you more knowledge. If you have this particular question with you, I think this video will be helpful for you. And if you also notice, we are delegating this to a particular hub, right? So we are just creating a container. Suppose if I go to my you know uh, command prompt and type docker ps, I have my Selenium standalone Chrome that is in running state, right? So we have only this, but how how this is working as a hub, I don't know why we are delegating it to a hub, right? Is there actually a hub inside that? That's what we are going to see. Okay, so that's what going to be the agenda for today's topic. We will see, we will shell into the container. We will see what this folder structure is all about, how we can go into that container, how this whole thing works. Okay, without any executables. That's what the answer that we're going to find in this particular video. Good. So without wasting much time, okay, let me you know go to go to this particular command prompt. And if you notice, this is the Selenium standalone Chrome that is already in running state. Now I want to go into that particular container. So if you take a diagram, so this is our physical infra, and this is our container, and this is the Docker, right? So we have our container in a Docker, right? So we are just, so far we are just delegating whatever the test we have, to this particular physical infra port 4444 to the Docker port 4444, right? This is what we have done. But what we are now going to do, we are going to get into the command prompt. So maybe we call it a shell in Linux. So we're going to get inside that and see what and all folders it has, right? So that's what we're going to do now. Okay, so now we want to get into that particular container. I want to get inside this particular container, so let's do that. Okay, so for that you need to use docker exec. So this command will help you to do that. Okay, attach yourself into the container. You need to type one more word, like hyphen ti. The t indicates that you want to see the output from that particular command prompt. Okay, and I indicates that you want to enter some input to that particular command prompt in the container. Suppose imagine this is the command prompt in my physical machine, right? What I'm doing, I am typing docker ps. It is allowing me to do because I have the access to type it, right? And it displayed me some answers, and I could able to see it because I have the capability or ability to attach myself to the output. But in the container, it by default will not give you that permission. So you need to tell hyphen ta, which indicates that I want to see the output from the command prompt, and hyphen I indicates that you want to interact with that command prompt, right? So that's why we combine these two things together as hyphen it or ta, whatever. And what is the container that you want to get into? This is the container I want to get into. Good. Now inside that there is a folder called bin, and then there is a bash inside that. Okay, so I'll tell you what is this. So it will actually take me to the command prompt inside this container. So actually this should be called as shell. For time being, I am calling it as command prompt, right? So now click on enter. Now it should take us inside the container, right? So we are attaching ourselves inside the container. If you notice, there is the user called cell user. Maybe they have defined some username who is coming into this container as cell user. And if you also notice, we are inside this particular container. It's clearly telling us with the ID. Okay, we are not in my machine anymore. We are actually getting, here. We are actually here. No, now we can able to control this particular container by ourselves, right? This is really cool. Why I have come here, I need to see where this particular Chrome driver thing is there. Okay, because without Chrome driver you cannot invoke the browser, right? So that's what we want to see. Now to do that, I just type ls. If you notice, ls is a command. It's going to list you all the particular folders or files that is present in the current directory. If you notice, there are so many folders. Okay, let me get into this particular opt folder. Okay, cd opt, and again I'm doing ls to see what and all the folders are there. So if you notice, there are three folders here. So what I want to do, I want to get into a folder called selenium. Okay, let's go inside this and then list it again. If you notice, there is a Chrome driver with a particular version, and then there is a config.json, and then there is a Selenium standalone jar. So these are all the things that is making us to run the test in this particular container. Again, guys, if you have worked with a Selenium grid, before using Docker, okay, you might understand while starting the Selenium grid, you need a standalone jar. And then you also can set the capabilities and other properties defined in a config json. Okay, let's see what's inside this config json. Okay, uh, config json. Okay, so if you notice, the version of this particular thing is 88. Okay, all the details about this particular node is defined in this config.json. Okay, so that's what they have done something, to have this whole thing here. Okay, this is what making us to you know execute a test, okay, inside this particular container. No, Amudan, how did you find all these things? Okay, you just went into this folder directly without even considering other folders. How do you know this is existing here? Okay, for that, if you need the answer, let's go to the image. Like I already told, the containers are getting created from your image, because that's the base, right? From that we are creating an instance, right? So if you go to this particular thing, these are all the simple commands they are using. Okay, suppose if you notice, the home selenium user, they are setting some home here. And then if you notice, they have some entry point. So again, I'll come to this later, but for now, I'm interested in the 16th line. Okay, if you notice, we are going into the shell, and then they are doing some operation. And if you notice, they are creating touch means you are creating some file. They are creating a file inside opt selenium config.json, and they are giving chmod 777 indicates they are giving readable, writable, and executable permission, and all these things. But if you notice, this is the command that I am very interested, wget, which means they are trying to hit this particular endpoint. Okay, this is the particular endpoint where this selenium standalone jar file is located. Okay, maybe this is this particular thing. So this is okay, I think this is that. So in this you can find all the Chrome driver. I think I need to go here. Okay, so if you notice, Selenium's all the Selenium standalone jar files will be present here. If you notice, it's Selenium's server 2.41. Okay, 2.41 is also available here. Okay, if you want a 3.4 141.59, that's the standalone jar version that we are using. Okay, so all these things are here. So they are fetching the values, from this particular endpoint. Okay, and then they are doing all these things and other stuff. And the Chrome driver, okay, if you go a little bit down, they are doing all the things. Okay, if you do, they are setting up the screen width, height, all these things. And if you go still bottom, okay, notice there is again a command at the 58th line. Okay, they are doing something like this. Okay, again they are doing wget. Okay, they are trying to fetch some value from this particular endpoint. So Google APIs, Chrome drive dot storage dot Google APIs. So this is that particular thing. If you notice here in this particular repo, they are maintaining all the, suppose this is the 80 version, right? So this is the 81, this is 82, 83 different Chrome driver versions are stored here. Okay, they are using they are connecting them and then fetching those values with by hitting the URL. Good. Now after doing all these things, okay, they are fetching the zip file. Okay, and then what they are doing, they are unzipping it. Okay, they are unzipping it, they are moving this to opt slash selenium slash Chrome driver. From this only I understood there is a Chrome driver that is located in this particular location. Okay, so even if you notice, they are also doing some linking. Why they are doing so? Sudo lnfs, which means they are doing a soft link between the you know file that is present in this particular location, okay, to the file in this particular location. So what this soft link, if you don't know what is this, maybe a quick glimpse. Suppose you are installing this particular APM software or this Android Studio software, it will be in C program file some place, right? I have created a desktop icon here. Okay, this is a desktop icon, right? On clicking this, the file inside C program files and Android Studio.exe is getting triggered. Okay, this is the concept called soft linking. Okay, whatever you know, if I click here, the file inside the another particular location is getting open. The same way they are doing this. So they are creating a link between the file that is present in this particular location, that is this, to the file located inside um, I think USR and then bin. Okay, so let's go and understand what is that particular location. I think it's USR bin Chrome driver. Why they are doing this linking? Again, guys, these are all things little tricky, but yeah, these are all things that can give you more confident about using Docker. If you know more, you will get more confidence, right? If you don't know much, you will feel like, okay, I know it, but still, I'm not that much good at it. So don't be in that particular state. That is very bad. Okay, so now in from here I'm just going to this particular location. Okay, um, where they have mentioned user bin Chrome driver. Okay, so let's go to this particular location, user bin. Okay, and then ls. Okay, if you notice, there are so many files here. Okay, there is a Chrome driver file in this particular location. Why they are doing all these things? This is because, okay, and if you just mention echo dollar path, okay, you mention this. Okay, they have set some environmental variables. Okay, they have set an environment variable to this particular folder slash user slash bin. When you set this, you don't have to mention the full path. Okay, by default, your machine will go and search for some files in this particular locations. Okay, whatever the location that you have mentioned here. If you don't know, I cannot relate this, how? Please give me an example. In that case, you can imagine you are setting the Java home, your Maven home, your Android home. You are doing all this. Why? Because you want to execute some command. Suppose in case of Java, you want to execute Java C or Java commands, right? From whatever the place, even if you type it from D folder, it doesn't matter. It can go and understand there is a Java that is presented in C uses some ABCD location and then Java folder. Okay, that's the reason we are setting the path. Once you set this, okay, once you set this, you don't have to mention this whole thing. Okay, you don't have to tell exactly, because here they haven't mentioned like this. Okay, if they haven't done that thing, they have to mention something like this inside opt, inside bin. They have to go and search for this Chrome driver somewhere. They need to use this command. But since they have done the path setup, okay, they are not doing all these things. Okay, it will automatically take it from the user slash bin location, but the original file is located in this particular location, the opt slash selenium location. Okay, so this is the location. Let me cd into opt slash selenium. Okay, this is the location. Okay, this file is located, this is the original file, but the link is present in user bin. Okay, so this is all the whole thing. So you can now understand certain things. Okay, we can infer certain things. What is that? In the selenium standalone container itself, we have something, something like this. We have some hub. Okay, we have some hub, and then we have some node. Okay, so this is making together, it will make your your selenium grid. Okay, so that's the reason they are calling it a standalone Chrome. It can run on its own. It doesn't depend on anyone. That's why we call it a standalone Chrome. Since this had, if you have worked with your Selenium grid, without Docker, then you can understand we can have the hub and the node both in the same machine. I think they may have something like that here, but whatever the case, they have everything that is encapsulated in this particular container. So that's the reason. Okay, that's the reason. We could able to execute the test without having any executables. I think that's the agenda why we created this video. We need to understand why there is no need for executables while running our test in containers. What is the advantage of this, Amudan? Okay, even when you are having Selenium grid in local infrastructure, the problem is if your machine gets updated, you need to update your Chrome driver. There is no other go, even if you do Selenium grid or whatever the thing, right? So either you need to go for WebDriver manager, or you know you need to update the Chrome driver manually. So that is the problem. But in case of container, they all have its own its own Chrome driver. Okay, it doesn't depend on anyone. Okay, that's the beauty about this. So I think we have covered what is this Selenium standalone Chrome. So maybe to give a summary, Selenium standalone Chrome is a container that has its own Selenium grid kind of infra. That's why it has a hub, it has a node, and that's the reason we are delegating our test to this particular guy. That hub. Okay, so since there is a hub inside the Selenium standalone Chrome, we are delegating all our requests to this. Okay, that is the inference that we can understand. Now, what is inside the container? Yes, the container has all the necessary things that needs to run the Chrome, Chrome instance. That, even if you want to have a look where the Chrome is located, I think it will be located inside um, your. There is a folder called Google here. I think they are maintaining the Chrome here. Okay, I'm not sure about it, but yeah, they should have something here. And if you list the files here, they have the Chrome. Okay, this is your consider this is like your Chrome.exe. Okay, so they have their Chrome here, they have their Chrome driver here, they are setting the path, and everything is working fine, right? So good. Now we also understood how we can get into the container cell, and we also understood the folder structure. Again, guys, most importantly, what I want to tell, the whole thing that we are doing is in Linux machine. So suppose if I type some command, Linux command, date, this is printing me the current date, because this is basically Linux container. So we are executing our test in a Linux machine, guys. So if someone is asking if you're running your test in a Docker container, are you running it on Windows machine or Linux machine, you have to tell them that you are running it on Linux machine, right? So good. So I think we have also understood how we can relate this with Docker file. That's what this is a Docker file, and we can understand with this command they are doing something like pulling the particular Chrome driver version, unzipping it, moving this to this particular thing, setting the path. They also giving the permission. Okay, all these things. Okay, if you want to customize, if you want to create your own Docker image, you can also do that. So see, they are exposing the port 4444 because we want to interact with it by delegating the test, right? That's why they are exposing this particular port. Okay, so try to debug more in this Docker image. So if you are very good at Linux, you can understand all these things. Okay, I hope we have covered the agenda for today's topic. I'll see you all in another great video. Until then, tata, bye bye from Amudan. If you guys like my channel, content from my channel, please do subscribe and keep pouring your support, guys. Thank you. Bye bye.